Welcome back to our second episode in the hunting trips all around the world. After we have done Scotland in our first episode, today we want to still stay in the north, but now we are talking about North America and we will talk about hunting in Canada, British Columbia. What are the areas where we can hunt? So here you can see British Columbia is one of the western provinces of Canada, and we are hunting basically nearly in the middle of British Columbia, close to Fort St. James. What are the game species now? In British Columbia, first of all, we can hunt the moose. Here you see now Alaska Yukon moose, so British Columbia will not have as big mooses as you can see here, but later on I will show you some examples of the moose from British Columbia, and these are also quite impressive, and you have also a good chance to really get your moose in BC. Besides the moose, which is most probably the most famous for British Columbia, the next one is really the elk. So you have also very good stock on elk here in British Columbia, which can be hunted here also. Then we come to the predators. So on the one side, you can hunt for the black bear, which I think is after moose really the second most famous animal or game which you can hunt in British Columbia. In the last years, our success rate on black bear in the spring was always 100%. I mean, it's not a guarantee for the future, but in the spring, after they come out of their sleeping during the winter, there's a really good chance to see quite a lot of bears and also to get your bear shot. The other thing you can hunt here is the wolf. For the wolf, it's really just luck. I mean, there's a lot of wolves, but normally you don't see them. But what I always recommend the hunters is really get your tag. So it's just like 80 Canadian dollar. But if you don't have the tag, you can't shoot it. If you have the tag, there's a small chance that you will see one, but at least you know when one is coming, you are able to really shoot it. And beside this, you also can hunt for different cats like lynx and bobcat, which are also available in British Columbia. So from an accommodation point of view, British Columbia normally is done from like the main camp, which you can see here, which is a wooden houses where you have your bed, you have a living room, you have a hot and cold shower, you have a kitchen, everything included. So this is really the base camp which we use for the black bear hunting and also sometimes for the moose and other hunts. But during the moose hunts, you can also be in a kind of a spike camp, which is then closer to the area where you would hunt your moose, so that you don't need to travel too much. Yeah, now some impressions from the area. So this is now the hunting on black bear. In British Columbia, you're not allowed to bait the black bear, so it's more like walking and driving. As the area is like 500,000 hectares, it's impossible to really completely walk it. So that's why we normally start with a pickup to drive around. And as you can see here, you can also see the bears on the side of the street, especially in the beginning. They really, really love the streets because this is where the snow gets removed the easiest way in the beginning. And then the fresh green, especially here is coming up, which then the bears really love. So that's why you see them also very often on the streets. There's another example where you can always find bears. So here you see a lot of forest, but then here these open areas. So what you normally do when you know the spots where the bears are generally feeding, then you try to sneak through the forest, try to get to these open spots to see if you can see a bear. If yes, then you go there. If it's a possible size or the right size what you want, then you can really get it and shoot it. The other option is really sitting on higher spots like you see here. And then you have like a small river and lakes where normally also the bears come out to really feed the green grass around them. So they stay in the forest, then they come out, go to these water areas. And that's where you can also wait and sit and wait for the bears. Yeah, and then if you were lucky, either we are stalking or we are waiting, then you can have your trophy. Like this is a typical black bear. I mean, it's now a smaller version, but this is a typical black bear. And then you see here just a little bit of it. And this is like a Simon bear. So you also have quite a number of brown black bears, which you can also get here in this area. Yeah, here with this, I wanted to show you also a little bit of the area where we normally hunt the moose. So as you can see here, a lot of forest, but then in between you also have these water areas, lakes and rivers. And what we do for the moose is either we walk in the forest, or what we also very often do is we use the boat or the canoe and move here on the rivers and lakes, because the moose also come out of the forest to go into the water sometimes. And that's what we can make to our advantage. Also, you can use during the ruts, you can call them so that you can also wait either in the forest or here in the close to the water to really call them out and then sneak to them. And this is also in the forest where you can find the moose. And what you can do here, if you use the calling, either the moose is coming to you, or you can also try to call them and then you hear where they are, and then you sneak through the forest closer and closer to the bull, so that you can then in the end get to the moose and shoot it. Yeah, and this is now when you're then lucky and then you could get your moose. Here you see like one of the typical mooses, what you can get in British Columbia. Here you see also it was driving by boats on the shore, and then they found the moose and then they shot it. Yeah, then you also have some lucky guys who really got a wolf. As said before, this is really like a lottery if you get one or not. But if you're lucky to see one, then you have a really nice trophy also with a wolf. Yeah, some more examples of moose. This is now also a very nice moose from British Columbia. And as you can see here, this was again shot in the forest. Yeah, with this, I hope I could give you some nice impressions how hunting and the area in British Columbia looks like. And yeah, I can only recommend, if you really want to go like for black bear, British Columbia is really the spot to go, because they have a really, really high success rate and very good areas. But also for moose and other animals, British Columbia is really a nice place to hunt.